Hello, and thanks everybody for joining this session, and thank you for attending the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students, sponsored by OACAC and StriveScan. Just a couple quick housekeeping notes before we jump into this session. You can use the Q&A button if you have questions for our panelists. Your microphone and camera are turned off and will remain so throughout the presentation. You're able to explore and sign up for additional sessions by visiting oacac.org. And a recording of this session, along with all other sessions, will be available at oacac.org about a week following the presentation. With that, I'd like to turn it over to our panelists.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Dooley, and I work as a recruiter for the IU School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI. Now, that's a very long title. I work with a university that you may have never heard of called IUPUI in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. So yes, we are just across the border in Indiana. So the university I work at is directly downtown in the capital of the state, and we are a pretty big public urban institution. So, and I'll skip past this video for now. As I said, we're pretty big. We have about 30,000 total students. We welcome about 4,000 freshmen every year, and we have over 500 majors to choose from. But we are a very unique school. First of all, we have a long name, IUPUI. I think right now we hold the record for the longest name of any university in the United States, which is something I'm very proud of. But our name is also a palindrome, meaning it's the same forwards and backwards. So it's IUPUI and IUPUI, no matter what way you look at it. But our name, it stands for Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. So we are a collaboration between two Big Ten universities, IU, Indiana University, and Purdue, but located in a third location in the heart of the state in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. So what this means for our students is that when you choose to go to IUPUI, you are an IUPUI student. You can live on our campus, our downtown campus with 5 residence halls. You can cheer on our Division I athletics, the IUPUI Jaguars, but you just don't receive an IUPUI diploma when you're done. You receive either an IU or a Purdue diploma depending on your major. So we have Purdue Engineering, Purdue Science, and then pretty much everything else is an IU degree on our campus. But you're not stuck in IU or Purdue tracks. Our students often double major, receive both a Purdue degree and an IU degree by the time they're done, or an IU degree with a Purdue minor. So there are lots of combinations out there. We like to say that we're the best of 3 worlds, IU, Purdue, and Indianapolis. But that's enough about our wonderful campus. I'm here to talk to you about some specific programs that we offer, and maybe some career options you've never heard of before. So I work with the School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI, and as you can see from this slide, we are an IU school, and you'll get that IU diploma. But we focus on a concept called informatics. Now, you may have heard of computer engineering and computer science before. Our friends in computer engineering are focusing on the hardware of computers, the actual engineering of that hardware to make it go, to make it run, and to make it run well. Our friends in computer science are studying the theory around software, programming languages. They are really teaching that hardware how to think and how to do tasks and how to get them to perform tasks and roles in our society that we want them to perform. In informatics, we study how people and technology connect. So we are focused on studying how technology is being used in our daily lives, how it's being used in our personal lives, in business, in education, in healthcare, in entertainment. And we are focused on human-centered computing, designing all of these devices, software, websites to be user-friendly, to actually be something that human beings want to use. Because you can have the best working smartphone in the entire world and have it, but if it doesn't make sense, like if you hand it to someone off the street and they can't turn it on, it's completely useless. So our students are studying that psychology behind how can we make this something that's actually useful and fits this purpose much better than it did before. So this screen has a lot of numbers on it, but something you can take away from this is that we are a very career-focused program. These design thinking skills are in high demand from employers. A lot of people can code, but not a lot of people can design things to work well and effectively. So about 87% of our students have a job before graduation. They're often making about $54,000 in their first job out of college. Over 90 companies are hiring our students in either intern or full-time positions, and there are some of our top hiring companies there at the bottom. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 undergraduate majors that we have to offer. And at first glance, these all may look very different from one another, but they're all connected by that concept of informatics, how people and technology connect. So each one of these majors is analyzing the role of technology in a different sector or applying a different set of technological skills to a specific societal issue. So we have 2 majors that I'll go more into depth here in a second, informatics and applied data information science, that may be more similar to computer science if you've ever taken a computer science course. We have health information management and biomedical informatics, which are our healthcare related programs. And then we have media arts and science, which is extremely creative. Our students are learning emerging digital technologies and applying them to entertainment, business, really anywhere that needs people who can communicate using digital mediums. Before I jump into all of that, I'm going to show you a short video that goes a little bit further into how we define informatics in our programs.
A way to connect people and information.
It was XML, it was HTML.
Oh, I think it's connections. Informatics is the future of computing.
It is technology, it is media, it is everything that you see on the internet, it's everything that's pervasive.
It connects people, it connects technology, it connects information. The window to the future. It's something that is here, is necessary.
We need somebody that can touch on some 3D and can do some video and possibly make a website for us.
Take the data and to make sense of it and to use it to kind of improve my life and people's lives.
It's a way to connect people with ideas and technology.
So let me dive right in to the majors. So the very first major I'm going to talk about is informatics. This is our namesake program. You're going to get a background in coding, some different programming languages, but you're going to take a lot of classes with titles like human-centered computing, UX, UI, user experiences, user interfaces, device design, Internet of Things, how all of our devices talk to one another. So to really steep you in both the know-how of how to actually build these devices or applications or websites, but then also that design thinking. Now, this concept of informatics is extremely broad. You can apply this kind of thinking into a lot of different sectors of our society. So informatics majors must choose a specialization. They must choose a specialization so that they can really become an expert on applying informatics in that field. And we want our students to do this so that you become an expert on something, and so that you also build that really strong portfolio of work and examples of projects you've worked on that will help you land your first job after graduation. So we see a lot of students in informatics who may specialize in business, who want to help businesses design their websites, web apps, databases, help them do business analytics or digital marketing. We see students who specialize in digital humanities, who want to actually help nonprofits or museums manage their information, to digitize archives, all sorts of different things. So this major is really great for people who have a passion, who have a kind of sector they want to go into, but they also have a passion for technology. And you want to use that technology to make the world a better place or to really help improve that area of our lives. So I think the best way to explain informatics is to show you another video. And this video I'm going to mute and talk over and kind of explain what's going on. This video features real examples of student projects that have come out of this program, so you can see all the different ways our students are applying informatics. So the very first example is one of our students named Kyle. He did an internship with a company in downtown Indianapolis that does food delivery. He helped design the web app that people use to order food. So he did the front end, the design, and the back end, the coding, actually make it to make it run well. And he did the business analytics to help that company determine what their most popular items were, and therefore what supplies they needed to order to have in stock in certain points of the day. This example is awesome. This is an example of a research project of my students and faculty on a screenless keyboard, specifically for people who are blind or visually impaired, where you can make a motion with your hand after hearing letters in your ear to type without having to use a visual interface. So completely reimagining what our technology looks like by actually designing for the end user's needs versus what we think their needs are. So this next series of examples is going to illustrate a couple different concepts. The first one is device design, and our students are studying how we interface with technology, like the screens we see in our smartphones. What colors are we using? Do those colors make sense? Are they good or bad? Does it automatically let us know if it's progressing or going backwards? Does the menu and interface even make sense? So our students are studying those concepts. Our students are also studying something I mentioned earlier called IoT, the Internet of Things. How all of our devices are talking to one another and sharing data amongst each other and performing tasks together. So you can see this woman just entered her house, unlocked her front door with her smartwatch, the thermostat automatically set to whatever she set it to. She's about to check her email and calendar on her smart fridge. So our students are really analyzing and learning about these networks that exist between our devices and how to optimize them so that they're actually useful in our daily lives versus cumbersome. So those are some examples of real student projects in this program. Now this page has some career information. Our informatics students are in high demand. 92% of them have a job at graduation. They're often making about $55,000 in their first job out of college. If you're unfamiliar with the city of Indianapolis, we're a rising tech city. We have Salesforce, which is a big business marketing company, has one of their headquarters in downtown Indianapolis. They have a lot of pipeline programs with our school. We also have a bunch of other companies that our students have some really meaningful relationships with. So they're hiring our students, but our students are also getting job titles like Senior Human Factors Engineer, Application Consultant, Success Agent, UX Analyst, Data Analyst, and more. So those are the kinds of job opportunities you can expect when studying informatics. Now the second major I want to talk to you about is called Applied Data and Information Science. This is a newer major we debuted in the past couple of years because of demand from local companies. Every single industry that exists today relies on data experts to analyze data, to help make referrals to business leaders on what to do next, what changes to make in their business to optimize what they're doing, to save money, to be more efficient, and to just do their jobs better. So this program is going to teach you how to be that data expert. There are two specializations you can choose from. The first one is Applied Data Science. And this specialization, you're going to take some more math, statistics, calculus. You're going to learn the tools you need to analyze large data sets, to discover trends among them, to really find meaning amongst a lot of information. You're also going to learn how to visualize data, to turn that meaning into something visual that anyone can understand, that you can present and send to the people at the top of your organization so that they will immediately understand what you found and then be able to make decisions based off of that. The second specialization in this program is Applied Information Science, and this is less heavy on math, statistics, and calculus, but you'll be learning more about the data life cycle. So where do we get data from? Do we get it from sources that we trust that data to be valid? Then how are we storing data? Are we storing it in ways that are protected and private and safe from people who might want to hack into it or use it for nefarious purposes? And then how are we using data? Are we using data in ways that we told people we would? Are we using it in ethical ways, in ways that we have consent to from where we got the data from? And then how are we purging data when we're done with it? Are we getting rid of it in a way that's safe, that people can't then access and do whatever they're going to do with it? So as I said, this is a new program. So we only have data from our graduate program, which is a bit older, but this again is a skill set that is in high demand. 94% of our graduate students have a job at graduation. They're often making $80,000 straight out of school. Some of those same top companies are hiring these students, and they're getting job titles like Big Data Consultant, Data Analyst, Database Administrator, Software Developer, and more. So if you like looking at a lot of numbers and making meaning out of them, this is a program you should consider. So I mentioned that 2 of our degree programs are related to the healthcare industry. And if you are looking at IUPUI for other majors, we are a university that has a lot of healthcare options. First of all, we have the largest school of medicine on our campus, the IU School of Medicine. There's also 5 hospitals within a mile of our campus, and I think IUPUI itself is the 3rd largest medical campus in the United States, with the School of Medicine, all the hospitals, and all the labs and research opportunities we have to offer our students. So, the first major I'm going to talk about here is Biomedical Informatics. If you are interested in maybe going to med school, you've thought about that, but you really like computer science and biology and chemistry, this may be an excellent fit for you. Students in this area are studying biology and chemistry alongside information technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, coding, database design, to help drive clinical research and to help drive drug discovery, so discovering new medicines to treat diseases. If you are a large company who's trying to create a new medicine, like a vaccine for COVID-19, normally that takes years and years and years of research to do, testing your results over and over and over again to make sure you're not going to have adverse effects on the human body. But nowadays, a lot of researchers use artificial intelligence and machine learning to simulate those results over and over and over again, using data about the human body and chemistry and genetics, and feeding it into a very smart algorithm to then predict what those outcomes are going to be. But that's a really specialized skill set, and not a lot of people have that, even though that's the future where research is going. So students in this program are learning how to do that. Now, biomedical informatics is also another very new major we've debuted in the past 2 years because of the need of the industry and local companies. So these are also numbers from our graduate program. 100% of our grad students have a job at graduation. They're often making about $70,000 in their first job after grad school. And you can see some of those same big tech companies are hiring them, but you also see some hospitals and medical research laboratories that are hiring these students. And they're getting job titles like bioinformatics scientist, biomedical data scientist, and more. Then the second major I'm going to talk about here is our health information management program. And this is less heavy on biology and chemistry, but more focused on using information technology to help hospitals manage the vast amount of data that they're responsible for. When you go to the hospital, you're filling out that intake form with all of your information. They're taking your insurance information. They have to keep a record of your medical history, past procedures, keeping an accurate record of your current procedures, and then how to bill you for them and how to bill your insurance for them correctly. That's a really complicated web of stuff that hospitals need to keep track of. So students in this program are learning how to do all of that. And every hospital in the United States has a health information management office, with people who have a very specific accreditation, Registered Health Information Administrator, RHIA. So our students are learning how to do that to get that job that exists in every hospital. The professors who teach in this area say that if you love to solve puzzles and you want to help people, but not necessarily deal with patients and blood, then this is something that you should look at. But for these students, 82% of them have a job at graduation. They're making about $43,000 in their first job. A bunch of local hospitals and insurance companies are hiring them, and they're getting job titles like privacy officer, medical coder, quality assurance system analyst, and more. So lots of job opportunities out there. Now, the last major I'm going to talk about is our Media Arts and Science program, and this is an extremely creative program. Our students are learning emerging digital technologies and learning how to communicate using them in both entertainment and also what we call serious purposes, like business and healthcare and a lot of other stuff that I'll talk about. But this major has 5 specializations that you choose from, and you really concentrate on these after your first year. You can choose to go into 3D graphics and animation, and this is a 3D graphics and animation program. We've had students go off and work for Pixar, Disney. Animators have worked on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Marvel movies, but they've also gone and worked for hospitals designing prosthetics, businesses designing 3D advertisements, so lots of different things to get into. The second specialization is game design and development, and it's going to force you to choose either design, so the art side of video games, creating environments, character and creature design, or development, the coding, back end, learning how to use game engines, so actually making a game run well. The third specialization is video production and sound design. This is a film and sound program, so learning how to shoot professional video projects and also how to mix sound for different projects. The fourth specialization is web design and development, so designing the front end of websites, how they look and feel, and the back end, the development side, if they run well on your computer, on your phone, on your Kindle, on your BlackBerry from 2008. So really all that coding side of things. And then the fifth specialization is something called digital storytelling. And this major, you will learn how to tell stories using different digital mediums, whether that's social media, websites, and more. And you're either doing this to get into entertainment, to be a storyboard artist, graphic designer, or if you want to go into business purposes, go into digital marketing, helping companies tell and communicate their brands through social media, websites, and more. Because if you're a business in today's world, you will not survive unless you know how to use the internet. So I've talked at you enough. I'm going to show you another video with some examples of student projects. I'm also going to mute this one and talk over it and kind of explain the projects as they happen. So the first example is one of our 3D students who is doing an internship for the Air Force in Indiana. So they have actually had a lot of our students do internships for them, 3D modeling airplanes that they are considering producing. So they can do a lot of testing of them in 3D spaces on air resistance and all this other stuff without spending the money to build them, and then do the tests in real life. This is an example of one of our digital storytelling students creating a 3D motion graphic advertisement for an art museum in Indianapolis. So 3D is everything right now. We also see a lot of students who get internships with local museums doing 3D scanning and modeling of artifacts that they have that they just don't have the space to actually display out on the floor. So we've had several students create virtual reality museum exhibits. Now this is footage of one of our virtual reality lab spaces that also has AR technology in it, augmented reality. So those fans and heat lamps that are making that a more immersive experience. And then this is an example of another one of our 3D students. She actually, for her senior project, 3D modeled and printed educational tools that doctors can use in the doctor's office to help explain to a patient about upcoming surgeries or procedures, where that doctor can 3D print in that office an example of your organ and show you exactly what that surgery is going to do or what's going on with your illness. And then this is a great example of those terms I was using earlier, front end and back end. So in web development, front end refers to what the user actually sees, what the website looks like, and if it's user friendly. And then back end refers to the coding, all of the actual programming that shows us those things we see on the front end. So our students are going to focus on either one of those or double major to become a full stack developer to do both. And then this is an example of one of our amazing students who graduated last spring, who was a 3D artist who focused on doing environments for video games. And she actually just got a job with Rockstar Games, who produce Grand Theft Auto, among a bunch of other titles. And then our video students are getting internships everywhere you can think of. Video is everything. Every company, organization, high school, university needs people on staff who can shoot beautiful video for social media, for websites, especially now with so many things being digital and classes going digital. Having skills to shoot professional quality film are extremely valuable. So that's our Media Arts and Science program. So let's talk about careers. Where are our students ending up? So our Media Arts and Science students, 85% of them have a job at graduation. They're often making $65,000 right out of the gate. And our Media Arts and Science students are going one of two ways. A lot of them want to break into the entertainment industry, and for a lot of those students, those jobs are out in California. Some of them are in Chicago and Canada, some in Atlanta. So we really try to promote networking networking with our alumni. We have a Hoosiers in Hollywood internship program where we send students out to California to do internships. So if that's an interest of yours and an area you want to break into, we're going to give you that training here in Indiana, but preparing you for the coasts. But a lot of our students are finding jobs here in Indiana and the Midwest, applying these skills in other areas like healthcare, business, and more. So here are some companies that are hiring our students, and they're getting job titles like animator, VR, military simulations, concept artist, game developer, game tester, video and film production. So they're getting jobs all over the place. So those are all the majors I have to talk to you about today. But something else that we offer is we offer built-in 5-year tracks for each of those majors I just mentioned. And what this means is that when you're looking at colleges, there's a bunch of different degrees you can look at. There are 2-year associate's degrees, there are 4-year bachelor's degrees, which is what I talked about today. Then there's advanced 2-year master's degrees that you have to have a bachelor's degree in order to move on to. We offer 5-year programs. You can get your master's and bachelor's degree all within those 5 years for a much lower cost than if you pursued them each separately. So we have multiple tracks built in for all of our programs. Not every university offers something like this, so it's just something to keep in mind that is available to you if you come to IUPUI. So that's a bunch of wonderful things about our school and programs. Now let's talk about actually getting there and being admitted. So how do you apply to IUPUI? If you're a current senior, you can start that process right now. Our application is open for fall 2021. It's open now until May 1st. So you got a lot of time, but I always recommend applying by November 1st for full scholarship consideration. We have 2 applications you can choose from. You can apply to us on the common application like a lot of other schools, or you can apply to us using our own application, the Apply IU app that we share with any other Indiana university school. Something new for us this year is that we are going test optional, and this is something we're going to do before COVID-19, so I'm glad that we did that in the nick of time. But what this means is that you do not have to submit test scores to be considered for admission. We can consider you for admission based purely off of your high school GPA and grades. But if you have test scores that you're very proud of, you worked really hard to study for, and you want to show them off, submit them because they can definitely help you out. Now at IUPUI, we are pretty transparent about what it takes to be admitted. You can be admitted directly into your major, and here are the numbers for that for our programs. Usually a 3.0 high school GPA will get you directly admitted to one of our majors, but a 3.2 GPA is what you need for our healthcare related programs. You can also be admitted pre your major to IUPUI, and I think some minimum grades they're looking for is about a 2.8 GPA. So some things to note is that when you apply, it usually takes 6 to 8 weeks after you apply to hear back from us. There's again those 2 applications. There is a $65 application fee. And if you choose to come to IUPUI and be a Jaguar, there's a $100 deposit due at that time, but you get it back in the fall as a credit on your first bill of the semester. But let's talk about scholarships. Free money for college. The most important thing here that I did not mention at the beginning that I should have is that IUPUI is a part of something called the Midwest Student Exchange Program, meaning that we offer a significant discount to Ohio students. So normally, out-of-state tuition is about $30,000 a year. But if you are from the state of Ohio, it's $14,000 a year. So that's over a 55% reduction, automatic as long as you're an Ohio resident and have a 2.8 GPA or above. And that reduction, you can still get scholarships in addition to that. So in addition to that, you could also be considered for automatic merit-based scholarships from the university. And you'll hear about these when you're admitted. I call these our cherry on top scholarships because they're just a little something on top to reward you for working hard. Our school, the School of Informatics and Computing, we also offer an automatic scholarship to our incoming freshmen that stacks on top of that. You have to have a 3.2 GPA and we'll give you $1,000 a year to reward you for working hard. But then there are also competitive scholarships that you do need to apply for, and one of those is our Honors College. This is the only scholarship on campus that currently requires a test score, so just something to keep in mind, and they have an extremely early deadline of November 15th of your senior year. When you apply, you'll get a lot of emails from me reminding you about that. But if these numbers look like something that fits you, I encourage you to explore them, because they offer scholarships that range from half tuition to full tuition and a year of room and board. So a wonderful way to make college more affordable. Well, let's talk about some other additional resources we have to offer. So we offer a lot of research opportunities that are open to our students, our undergrad students, even within your first semester on campus. We also have a study abroad program that goes to Greece every single summer. Not this summer, and hopefully we'll be doing this again in 2022. I think we've already decided, but I'm looking forward to that. IUPUI has over 500 student organizations, but we have several dozen just dedicated to our programs on campus. So if you want to join the Women in Game Development organization out in STEM, we have, I think, an entire Smash Brothers student organization, so lots of ways to get involved there. And then we have our own floor in one of our housing options, so you can live with other informatics and computing students. So let's talk about how you can get connected. If I talked about something today that you're interested in, you want to know a little bit more about it, I have a lot of other ways that we can chat some more. So I got a bunch of virtual open houses happening this fall. We call them Jag Days because we're the Jaguars, so it's cute. And those are happening all the way through December. Our graduating seniors from the School of Informatics and Computing have to present at something called Capstone and present their final projects. This is an awesome event that happens every semester that blows my mind, like melts my brain every semester because of how cool these projects are. And I invite high school students to that each semester. So if you apply, be sure to check your email and to get an invitation to that event. Something new we're doing this year is we are offering virtual workshops. And you should think of these as mini classes. They are mini 4-hour classes, 2 hours on a Tuesday and 2 hours on a Thursday, that you will take with one of our professors. They're completely free, which is awesome. So we have professors teaching mini workshops on game design, Unreal Engine, creature design, artificial intelligence, designing a chatbot, solving problems in healthcare, and a couple other ones. So if you're still exploring what you want to do as a career or what you're interested in, I recommend signing up for one of these because it can help you make that decision of what you want to major in. And then I meet one-on-one with students all the time, always. So if none of these opportunities work for you, or if you have some specific questions that you just want to ask me one-on-one, feel free to reach out to me. I do those all the time, and I'll also try and connect you with a faculty, one of our professors who teach in your area of interest, and also connect you to a current student so you can get the real inside scoop on what it's like to be one of our students. And then this is my last slide, and there's a lot of links on here. But all of this to say is that we have a lot of virtual resources for you. And I'm going to exit out of this presentation to show you some of them. So this here is our YouTube channel. And yes, we are on YouTube. You can follow us just by searching for the IU School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI. It's a mouthful, but you'll find us, or SOAC, IUPUI should get you to us. We got a bunch of videos on here. We have our virtual tour of our building. Our building has a lot of awesome lab spaces that are full of free tech that our students can use for student projects and sometimes not student projects. We have videos that our current students recorded as advice for incoming students and incoming freshmen. We have links here to videos that have featured our students talking about their projects and stories. So I talked about Kyle today and a couple other students. This is an amazing video about prosthetic design work that happens by our 3D artist students. Working with local hospitals, so that's really cool to watch later. And then down here, I think is my favorite section, are our virtual sessions. So this past summer, we invited our professors in different areas to come talk to us, and we recorded it. So they would talk about areas they teach in, trends and topics in their areas of interest. So these are some other amazing things to just watch if you're still trying to decide what you want to do and what you want to major in. So that's that. You can also find us online on our website. So our website is pretty simple. It's soic.iupui.edu. Lots of great information on here. And if you are interested in going on our virtual tour, you just click on Visit Us, check out our virtual tour. You can see that video that's on our YouTube, and then amazing 3D tours of each of our lab spaces. I love these. You can click around in these and see all the technology that's available for our students to use, and also examples of student work. So if you're comparing and seeing, okay, this university is going to offer this tech for me to use for free or other tech for me to use for free, this is a great way to see, just what we have to offer you. So again, my name is Taylor Dooley. I work at IUPUI for the School of Informatics and Computing. Does anyone have any questions or anything that I talked about that you want to know just a bit more about today? While we wait for questions, I know that I have about 10 minutes left with you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and show you our virtual tour. So let me go ahead and share my screen again.
Welcome to the IU School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI, or SOIC for short. My name is Kate Manzione, and I am the lead undergraduate ambassador at SOIC. Today, I will be showing you around our home on campus, the ICTC building, which everyone calls the IT building. Now, you might be wondering, what is informatics exactly? As the first of its kind in the United States, our school focuses on how people and technology connect. Our students are using tech to improve and change how we live, work, play, and communicate in areas like business, healthcare, entertainment, and more. And this is where it all happens. The IT building sits on the west edge of downtown Indianapolis. It contains all the industry-level labs, equipment, and workspaces our students need to succeed. No need to buy expensive equipment to create your projects. Everything you need as a student can be found in our labs or checked out. All of our labs and equipment can be reserved for you to use for free as an SOIC student. Working on a video for class? The video editing lab, known as Vela, has Mac Pro stations, professional level editing software, and even tools for 3D projection mapping. Our green screen studio contains a full chroma key wall, a controllable lighting rig, and motion capture technology. A trip to Mars or a deep sea dive is only a reservation away. Our audio production lab is one of the quietest spots on campus. This lab includes recording tools, a sound isolation booth, 7.1 surround sound, and Avid Pro Tools production software. The Advanced Visualization Next lab is an experimental, ever-changing space dedicated to working with the latest in tech. It focuses on virtual and augmented reality, 3D scanning and printing, and immersive visualization using 32 flat screens to create the IQ wall. Did I mention virtual reality and 3D printing? Throughout our lab spaces, you can find Oculus Rifts, HTC Vives, and MakerBot printers. We even have our own 3D printing lab. In this space, there have been incredible innovations in medical simulations and devices, facial prosthetics, and patient training devices with our partners in the IU School of Medicine and the IU School of Dentistry. The Media Arts Research and Learning Arcade, lovingly known as Marla, is a creative incubation hub with Cintiq creative pen displays, high-end game engines such as Unreal 4 and Unity, and 3D modeling software including Maya, ZBrush, and UV Layout. You can find students working on designing magical creatures, creating medical simulations, and animating final projects in Marla. Right next door, Marla Mobile is a facility that emphasizes developing applications and games for mobile platforms. Specialized and experimental software and hardware allows students to develop and test within any mobile environment. The IT building is also where you can find most of your advisors, professors, career services, and our Senior Executive Associate Dean, Dr. Matthew Palikow. Outside of our lab spaces, there are plenty of spots across the building where you can hunker down and work. Anytime class is not in session, feel free to use our numerous Mac labs, Cintiq classrooms, and laptop-ready classrooms to get your work done. Want a scenic view while studying? Take a seat in our glass hallway and take campus in city views. Need a caffeine break? The IT building features an Einstein's Bagels, which is a favorite breakfast and lunch spot for SOIC students, and there are even tables where you can sit outside on nice days. Our building is also located within walking distance of the downtown canal and museum district. There is nothing like a short walk along the canal while taking a study break. I hope you enjoyed your visit to SOIC, and we can't wait to see you in person soon. There's a creative and innovative community here waiting for you. Have any questions? Don't hesitate to reach out. Go Jaguars!
So that is a tour of our physical space and the lab spaces available for our students. So I didn't see any more questions come in, but we do have about 5 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions or something they just want to know a little bit more about? If you've never used Zoom before, at the bottom there's a Q&A function, and that's where you can type any questions that you have for me. All right, if you don't have any more questions, I will show you one more video. That is just so cool. I love to show it off all the time. And it's that prosthetic video I mentioned earlier. And this will be the last thing. But feel free to also keep posting any questions that you have.
This is a surgical guide for a quad zygoma implant surgery. So in this surgery, they are taking 4 titanium implants and placing them into the zygomatic bone to anchor a permanent denture. And then before I know it, this has been 2 years since, and I've been a part of 16 patient cases. And I still do illustration, you know, it's kind of evenly split. I like to jump back and forth because I love the medical work, but it's not quite as creatively fulfilling as being able to paint and draw my own stuff is. So I find like a nice balance between the two, between helping people and kind of painting stuff for myself as well. Prostheses, depending on the case, they could take months to complete for certain people. And this gentleman had lost a nose due to cancer, and after repeated failed plastic surgeries was kind of sick of going under the knife. And you know, Dr. Bellici said, hey, can we help this guy? We're like, yeah, sure, let's see what we can do. We scanned him. That day after scanning him, I sat down and I made the prosthesis in probably less than 4 hours. And then the next morning we had it on the printer ready to go. And they got to call up the patient and tell him that, hey, you know, we have your nose ready far sooner than you were probably expecting. It's one thing to be able to paint something for myself and feel really good about that. It's an entirely alien feeling to be able to say, like, I made this thing that somebody is wearing that can help improve their way of life. Like that, there is no feeling that's like that.
So that's one of our students, Jordan Nelson, who's one of many students who've done some different projects at the IU School of Medicine to help design prosthetics for patients in their care. But thank you all so much for joining me. That's the end of my presentation. Again, I'm Taylor Dooley from the School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI. I'll probably be reaching out to you later, but I really appreciate you joining me on this presentation.
All right, thanks again for everyone who joined us for this presentation. A couple quick things just to finish up. Once you close your screen, there will be a quick 4-question survey. If you wouldn't mind filling that out, that would be great. Again, you can explore additional options for sessions by visiting oacac.org. And the recording of this session, along with all other sessions, will be available on oacac.org about a week following the presentation. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.